Hello everybody, video here for you today. This is the retro no cap recap of the Curse of Oak Island season 6 episode 14 called Voyage to the Bottom of the Cenote, originally aired in February 2019. If you missed my recaps of previous and future episodes, there's a link to my Oak Island playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously on the Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 229 years. The 2018 excavation of Smith's Cove continues. Lead reports finding really nice early searcher ceramics at the east end of the slipway that is closest to the Sheep Pile Dam in Mahone Bay on the other side of it. None of those ceramics are shown. On podcasts in present day 2024, Laird and Jamie have said a very low percentage of everything found on the island makes it to the show. They've been trying to find the convergence point of the reported 5 box drains found by the Truro Company that are believed to feed the flood tunnel system at the Money Pit area. The Laguna team has found what they think is one of the drains pictured in the middle here, but so far have found no others, or the point where they all 5 connect. Some, including author Randall Sullivan, believe that the flood tunnels are fed instead from the southern shore east of the swamp. To follow up on that, across from the bay from Oak Island in the city of Western Shore, Craig and Jack board a boat with a team from the Center for Geographic Sciences. It's equipped with a LiDAR scanner shown here. They will also be doing side scan sonar, enabling detection of man-made structures 30 feet under the bay floor. They would be doing a grid pattern going both north-south and east-west. The data will be obtained from not only the southern cove, but also the east and north ones, as shown. They start in the south and first detect this line. And then this that Craig said could be a cave-in. The expert says it could be man-made. Craig says they could be in the area of the 4 ice holes that Dan Blankenship noticed in the winter of 1980. He thought they could be caused by caves or man-made tunnels. This possible anchor is also detected. The scanning of the other coves is not shown. Dr. Christopher Pittman joins the war room via video conference to full disclosures analysis on recent H8 finds. This was thought to be bone, but it's iron with sulfur, likely slag. She asked if there was a blacksmithing operation. Dave says not 170 feet underground. This possible leather was determined to be plant material, probably tree bark. Same thing for another find Jack thought was leather. The presumed parchment with pigment on it is actually rag paper, older than parchment. There's also this paper, but it's more contaminated. Dr. Brousseau says that it's pre-1890 and suggests having an old manuscript expert look at these. Alex and Doug take the latter 2 finds to the manuscripts expert, Joe Landry, later in the episode, but without a microscope in his shop, he is unable to say anything conclusively. The latest hammer grab from the H8 caisson contains this piece of pottery found by a member of the rock equipment team out of the bulldozer scoop before the spoils were taken to Jack to hand wash and search. Jack is sure that this is leather. Gary, helping out at the spoils table, finds this square nail he says is an oldie and would have been used for planking or decking of a ship. He goes on to say that this is the first of this type found on Oak Island. Narrator Robert Clotworthy asks, how did it get 170 feet underground? He answers his own question, saying, in the years after Daniel McGinnis and friends discovered the money pit in 1795, some people theorized that the wood used in constructing it came from a large ship. Back at the H8 caisson, the oscillator rocks a little, so they shut it down to see what's going on. It turns out that the soil that used to be right under the base is no longer there. It has dropped about 1.5 feet. Vanessa said it's not surprising since the area is basically Swiss cheese due to all the digging over the past 229 years. At the time of this episode, more than 40 boreholes, shafts, and tunnels had been dug by searchers. As Vanessa and Rock continue to assess the situation, the scene shifts to St. Mary's University in Halifax, where they do have microscopes, as well as other equipment, and where Marty and Doug have arranged to meet Joe Landry for another look at the paper finds from H8. After seeing the rag paper 100 times magnified, Joe says the pigment could be cinnabar due to the appearance. Cinnabar is a mineral that was used as early as the 800s AD to make a type of ink that was used throughout medieval Europe, most notably for important documents and religious manuscripts. Joe goes on to say 1300s to 1600s for what they found. Back in the money pit area, Vanessa informs Rick and Craig that it would be too dangerous to continue oscillating the caisson further into the earth, but that they are comfortable enough to continue hammer grabbing. Later that night, Rick is called back to the money pit where you can hear rumbling underground. Donning a safety harness, he goes to take a look. Right as a chunk of soil falls and splashes into the water, it continues to get worse, and he says that's enough curiosity. The next morning, the hole is about 8 by 11 feet, and the board has fallen in. Rick tests out the soil at the rim of the hole by tapping with his foot, and it moves. They have an engineer coming to give his assessment. To close out the episode, narrator Robert Clotworthy reminds us that of not only the boreholes, shafts, and tunnels dug by searchers, but also the flood tunnels and other voids dug by depositors. I'll be continuing Retro No Cap recapping Season 6 through 8 during the summer and early fall. All of the other episodes are already done and are in my Oak Island playlist. I'm also doing No Cap recaps of the current season of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, which has its own playlist, and I'll eventually start doing Retro No Cap recaps of Season 1 through 4 of that series. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Sempre avanti.